From the hood to the military, a vet and a visionary, I'm different, a dignitary. It's me, it's him. I am Mr. Motivation, and we tune in to Jam Hot Radio.
Hey guys, welcome back to Jam Hot Radio. I am here with Mr. Motivation. How are you?
Mighty fine, mighty fine. How you doing?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm great. I'm so happy to be here. So I am already swagged out, as you can see. Didn't even plan it, but it matches my outfit perfectly, so we love it.
No
so I'm so excited to just kind of dive into what you do. So let's get started. Before I get into the thick of it, I'm going to ask you what I ask everyone, and that is name an album everybody should have in their collection and why.
So before last year, when I would definitely say Reasonable Doubt.
Oh.
Classic. Should have went triple, right?
Classic. Oh my gosh. Wow. I haven't heard, every once in a blue moon I revisit that album. And it's just like a random day and I'm like, you know what? Today is the day for that. It's so good.
Yeah. That was 9-6. They got me through college. All the pre-parties.
Right.
I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
You know, you rocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does your brain go back to those places sometimes when you hear that music? Like wherever you created those core memories when you first heard it?
I think in general, even like if I hear anything, I'm like, yo, I was in Korea when this was popping. You know, and I go back to that, whether it was the club or a house party, that instance, and even I connect, I don't know if everybody does, like certain songs you may connect to a past relationship or a family member, you know what I mean? So I just love music.
Oh yeah, I love that. That's great. Awesome. So before we dive into, you do so much and I'm so excited to get into it, but before we do, I want to talk about the educational side of things. So you went from being a dropout to becoming a college professor, motivational speaker, Army vet. So walk us through that a little bit. How did you make that beautiful turnaround?
Yeah. So I'm a Brooklyn dude, right?
Ooh, shout out Brooklyn.
So 1-8, you know. So growing up in the hood, like my mom, she always said I need to go in the military. She said, you lack discipline, you need to take you behind the military, and I ain't got no money to pay for school.
Right, so that's the way.
That was the way. But my counselor was like, nah, Shaun, we can get you into school. Like, you're a B student, this is easy. I'm like, really? So I go to Binghamton, upstate New York, and I rocked out and ended up dropping out.
Right, okay, rocked out too much, then he dropped out.
I mean, like, I took a women's studies class. I thought the women was going to be in there. I didn't know we was learning about women history. I was that guy, okay?
I love it.
So I dropped out. I knew I couldn't go back home. You know, my mom, that wasn't even an option.
Right.
So I signed up, joined the military. And, you know, I actually, after a year or so, I went back to school. But then I was like, gonna be in the barracks, I'm passing all my friends playing spades, drinking, chilling, and I gotta go sit in a 4-hour class. Right. So I dropped out a few more times.
Okay.
And then, you know.
So you tried.
I tried. Yeah. You know, and then they tell you it was like 80, 90, whatever the number of credits it was high from where I was at, it was 0.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, I'm gonna do my associates. So I was 60 credits. So I knocked that out. So that built a little momentum. You got to win. I went to graduation. I was like, oh, that's nice. You know? Yeah. And then I was finishing my bachelor's, and I didn't finish it. I fast forward, I'm out of the military now. I'm actually in Iraq, but there was a girl in this story. So before I left for Iraq, I was like, I'm going to Iraq. I'm about to work 5 years, make 100-some thousand, and just stack chips. But this female I met, she was in Teach for America, which is a nonprofit focused on increasing diversity in medicine. I'm sorry, I'm tripping. I'm actually crossing up. Wifey nonprofit.
Oh, okay.
Teach for America increases professionals to serve 2 years in low-income communities.
Okay.
I'm so used to her pitch. So that's why I was just like, But what really got me was her commitment to her students. Like I never seen it before. You know what I mean? Like she would be at recitals, games, extra tutoring, and I was just like, wow. And she like,
what a caring heart.
Right? And I'm like, I was like, is this organization made up of people like you? Is this what it is?
Special?
Right. But that's the org. It was just like, it was something in the sauce.
Yeah.
So now I'm in Iraq now. In order for me to get considered for this, I need my bachelor's.
Okay.
So I'm in, all right, bombs coming in, and I'm here working on this this essay to submit, and I'm finishing my college too.
Right.
So then, fast forward, this 2009 now. I graduate with my bachelor's and get accepted to Teach for America.
Oh,
so that's when my
awesome.
Educational journey starts, really.
So you were really grinding. You were.
Listen, I was like, I'm all in.
Yeah.
Because TFA was so competitive. Like, it was like a 10-12% acceptance rate.
Wow.
And they had over 10,000 applicants. It was nuts.
Oh, wow.
And historically, they recruited Harvard grads, Yale grads. And I'm like, I barely made it out the gate,
Yeah.
But I was military. And I think that was a factor,
Mm-hmm.
So I get back, and then her and I break up. Didn't work, and I had the opportunity to go to Delaware, and I was like, I'll go anywhere. Right. I just came back from Iraq,
why not? Yeah.
In Delaware, I said, it's about to be game on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's how I didn't approach it as I'm a new corps member going into education. I said, no, I'm coming to impact education. I'm about to change the game here, you know what I mean? So, and that's what I did.
So that was what year did you
2009.
Okay.
Yeah, 2009, I got to Delaware. I did it's like a teaching boot camp, if you would, in Philly, and then I went to Delaware, and we were actually the first corps members in Delaware. So local government was super behind us. It was like a whole big thing when we showed up, and then it was time to get to work.
Yeah, That's amazing.
Yeah,
I love that. Wow. Okay, that's so inspiring.
Yeah,
that's great. So then, so obviously it's clear you are an Army vet. Thank you so much for your service. And you said 8 years?
8 years active. Mm-hmm.
Okay, wow. Yeah, so that's, I can imagine the transition back to the real world after all of that was probably a little bit difficult. Talk to me a little bit about that, and teaching Teachers of America?
Yeah, it was Teach for America. Yep.
Teach for America.
So what happened was, this must have been 2006 when I transitioned from the military. And I'm one of them dudes, I always got a plan. 3, 4, 10 steps and had this mapped out. So I had a plan, but it didn't quite work out as planned. Right?
Naturally.
Right. So in hindsight, I really didn't have a solid plan. You know what I mean? So I get out the military, and my vision was to take my job as a civilian. And that didn't work out. And all I had at that time, I think, was my associates. Okay. So they were offering me like crack rock jobs. These hour numbers was like, I'm like, how am I supposed to live off of that? Right. I'm an E6 promotable to go to this.
Yeah.
So the struggle was real. When you just didn't know, you're accustomed to knowing everything that's next. I didn't know where my next job, where the next meal check was coming from. So I was in a blue funk. That was my blue funk period.
Yeah.
And I was in Missouri, and I had good support. Like my mans and kid, the Omega, they was just super supportive.
Yeah.
But I said, you know what? If I'm gonna struggle, I'll struggle in New York. I'm gonna make it in New York.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I load up the U-Haul. I didn't even tell my boys. So I literally go to their house that morning. We, eating breakfast, breaking bread, and they're like, all right, Murph, we see you later. All right, fellas. And it pained me. I was like, I know I'm not gonna be here later, right?
Yeah.
I roll out, U-Haul out of there, and I think I'm driving straight through from Missouri to New York. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't, and I knew when they got off work, because my phone started blowing up. They're like,
where is he at?
And Wheeling, West Virginia, and then I answered the phone, and I think I was either talking to Kid or D'Omega, and I said, yeah, fellas, I have to go. And they're like, yo, bro, we got you, da-da-da. I was like, I feel you, but it's time, So got home and posted up my mom's and my sister for a little bit, and then my cousin plugged me at NYU. Nice. And that's when it started, my networking game.
Right.
And what happens, I fast forward and I start meeting vets, I'm always like always E6 mobile, take care of people, mentoring, coaching. Yeah. And I'm hearing from vets that they also have been struggling when they get out the military. And I'm like, damn, so my scenario wasn't isolated, So I said, what did I do? And I kind of came with a framework to help them better. And that's why I came with the 5M formula for success.
Yeah.
Mindset, motivation, money management, and massive movement. So my mindset when I got out, I was blaming my leadership. They ain't set me up for success, yada, yada, yada. But I had to change that to a growth mindset. Like, regardless of my situation, I can come out of this, right?
Yes.
Motivation, I had to go back to, like, what's my why? What is my reasons for wanting to go next level? Then it was money. I was, kind of focused on chasing money, but I had to just pivot and focus on, like what's my purpose?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, your gifts are going to make way for you. You just got to keep going forward,
Yes.
I tell people your passions are turned into profits if you stay on the road.
Stay true to
Management. Who's around me, right? A lot of my dudes was blaming and complaining, and we was blaming and complaining together, and you're not going nowhere. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I had to change that. I tell people I do a friend and family audit. Yeah. Toxicity gotta go.
It's so true.
You gotta go.
Isn't it so? But this has been such a topic among my peers in my community lately. In the last couple of years, I call myself a recovering people pleaser. So, I love and I love so big. But when you start really putting those boundaries in place and realize how great it feels to, like you say, do a little audit of sorts. I say, sometimes I gotta love people from afar because we're at very different levels of life. But now that I've done that, the company that I keep is just so precious and just so uplifting that it's like, why didn't I do this before?
Right.
Yeah.
You gotta go through some things.
Yeah, for sure.
But and then lastly is the massive movement when you really just got to get active. A lot of times I use the term mental masturbation, where you talk high level things with people that's intellectual, but there's no action. You're not doing nothing afterwards.
Shoot. That is such a real problem. Yeah.
People they're stuck.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is they're afraid to fail.
It's fear.
It's afraid to fail.
Fear-based,
I love failure. I tell you, because failure is like the block. If you got a ladder, failure are those rungs. And you need the rungs to get to the top.
You're so right.
Yeah. So
we learn something every single time we do, go through it. Whether it's a success or not. So I love that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now Miss Michelle Obama recognized you. So let's talk about that for a minute too.
Yes, Miss Obama. So crazy enough. So let's start with, I have a delusional self-confidence. Okay.
It's amazing.
I believe in me.
Yeah.
So I'm Teach America. After the Corps, they brought me on staff to lead and launch an initiative to recruit veterans to become educators. So I'm doing this thing, and I'm about a year in. We actually briefed some leadership in Washington, but then we went we rolled out.
Yeah.
So I called one of my girl Steph. So I've known Steph since 92, maybe 93. And Steph always called me like her most famous friend. This is like years ago. She said, Shaun, I just know you got it, right? So I'm like, Steph, next year I'm getting in the White House. I said, I don't know how. I'm getting in the White House. And she'll tell you. So I get a call, this must have been February. I forget Buddy's name, but he was Michelle Obama's speechwriter.
Okay.
And he's like, yeah, Shaun, your name came across our desk, your story. We want to, use your story in Michelle Obama's address. And I'm thinking, Michelle, who's this?
The one and only. Are you pranking me?
like quit playing.
Yeah.
Buddy was sincere. I said, okay. I said, I'm all in.
Let's do it.
So then a week later, I get the invitation to actually be there. So I'm like, oh, it's about to go down.
This is
I need a new tie.
Right,
this is all that popping.
Yeah.
So we get there, and I think I went down the night before. I was in the hotel room, and my preparation game is stupid, right? So I know I'm gonna meet either Miss Obama, Barack Obama, one of the Bidens, one of the four I'm meeting, right? So now I have three things that I'm gonna say when I meet them.
Right.
Because a lot of times you get in these situations, if you're not prepared, you can freeze up, you start babbling. This is one shot, right? So get in the building. I'm with General Shinseki. All the top brass leadership of Walmart. What it was they were recognizing people that were doing just great things for veterans.
I love that.
And I was doing that with recruitment, right? So we get in, and then they say, Shaun, you need to come with us. I'm all right. So I walk with these two dudes, and Michelle Obama's right here, Joe Biden's like, I'm inside, I'm like, holy cow, shit, man, this is crazy. Yeah. We're gonna have to hold it together.
Right.
So that was cool. We take a picture, then we go in, and now it's like real live TV, like the camera's seeing it. It's crazy in there. And I'm like, yo, this is unreal. And
that's so amazing.
yeah, it was just super dope. And so she recognizes me, and she's talking about Delaware, and Joe Biden's from Delaware.
Aww.
So Joe's pointing, I'm pointing, I see you, right?
Yeah.
And after, so they're leaving out, Joe Biden stops and doubles back and comes up to me, and I'm like, go time. And
yes, I got
activated, like I'm ready, right? Yeah. So I said, Mr. Vice President, I need you to come to the classroom and see what veterans are doing, you know. And he's like, Shaun, you know, with arms like those, we can make anything happen, you know. And everybody around me is like crying, laughing. And that was one of my memorable moments.
That is, I would never forget it. That's
right.
So special. And that's so nice to be recognized for your hard work.
Check. Oh, yeah,
that's
you put in some work into your face, let me tell you.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you are a serial entrepreneur, I would say, correct? You are an Army vet. Mm-hmm. You're a father.
Oh, yeah.
Husband.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the world's greatest job. And now you recently put out a record. So tell us all about it. What are you up to these days, and how do you have the time for it all? I know you just said you're like super confident doing your thing, and I love that, but like you gotta get tired too.
Yeah,
like how do you, and also like how do you remember, because I'm a very driven individual as well, and I have to consciously remind myself to just sit still, and it's so hard. Like it's so hard to do that sometimes. So how do you balance it all?
So that's an area and opportunity for me, sitting still. I just started yoga.
Yes.
And I want to get into more meditation. You know, I just sit still and be.
Yes.
I'm not there. I'm getting there. I've formulated the thoughts and I'm act on it. I'm overprotective of my time. You know, super. I remember I read this book, No More Mr. Nice Guy, Dr. Kennedy.
Okay.
And he's next level. I'm not there yet, but you know, Sundays I sit down, map out the week, 2 weeks, forecast. Do I have a talk to give? Do I need to prepare something? What meetings I have? Do I need to prepare for the meeting? Just to see what's going on Sundays. What's the kids got going on? What do I need to be at? And then I look at, you know, what wifey got going on work. So I have like several calendars, and I just kind of overlay and see where the conflicts lie, and I gotta make a decision.
Yeah.
So that's my process on Sundays. Besides that, I don't sleep too much, which is not healthy.
I know.
It's not healthy.
That's the one that I will forever be working on myself too.
Oh. I'm
like, and then you put the kids to bed, and then you're like, okay, well, it's my time now. So sometimes you can be productive, or sometimes...
Now the cool thing is with the kids, I include them in a lot of my entrepreneurial work. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like if you check out the album Blueprint, my daughter opens up the project.
Oh, I love that.
She opens the project. She's on Words. She makes a cameo on Acting Different. She's been in the studio with me.
It's so fun. It's there's a wide range on that album. I really enjoy it. Yeah.
I wanted to be a whole experience. I think about even my kids when I'm in the real estate. So when I was renovating the building, I brought my daughter with me so she could see what demo looks like. Yeah. And then in 3, 4, 6 weeks, we came back and she sees, oh wow, you know, the change. Yeah. One thing I heard from this one guy, he said, with our kids, say you got a automobile business, and it's a booming business, and you pass away, and then your kids inherit it. But they don't know nothing about the business. They don't know. They don't care. So they're probably gonna sell it off for crack rocks.
Right.
And then that cycle of poverty is likely to start again.
Whoo.
Right.
Yeah. So
what I do, for me, my ascribed status is poverty. My achieved status is probably middle class somewhere. But my kids' ascribed status is middle class, and they'll achieve to wealth. Right.
Yes.
So they have to be part of the process, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like I tell them all the time, you all going to take over this, you're going to run this. Mm-hmm. So now when it's time for me to expire, they're already in the game. They're just going to take the reins and keep it going. Right. You know what I mean? Because we can't go back to poverty. No. You know what I'm saying? No. And that's been the thing that drives me to ensure that the family name now is just on a whole different trajectory. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's one of the reasons I'm really super intentional Like even now, my daughter, she loves doing anything I'm doing. Off cam, I'll show you us working out yesterday.
Aww.
You know, because she's gymnastics. She's 6.
Oh.
Yeah, so we got an Olympic medal coming.
Yes,
for sure. So we locked in. What? Listen, I tell parents. One, the best advice I ever got: have 0 limitations. So when my daughter was walking at 2, we was in Universal training. She's doing cones. Yeah. Because you got to build that work ethic. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I'm a firm believer in that. My daughter's a hip hop dancer, and she trains like 10 hours a week. And I'm like, how are you doing this? But she loves it, and she, you know, it's teaching her that routine and the discipline, and it's
right. And it's separating her from her peers. You know what I'm saying? If other 10-year-olds are not doing 10 hours a week, you know, in 2-3 years, they can't even catch up to her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's the separating. For me, it's like, all right, whether you go the distance in this thing or not, you have work ethic. You're able to focus, sit down. All kids, some kids, they locked into the screen. Yeah. But then you ask me for a break when we doing math. Oh no, Chico. I need you locked in. Right. My son like that. I be getting with him. Yeah. No, so I'm super present then. So backstory for me, my pops was murdered when I was 6, right?
I'm sorry.
So I never saw the example. I was actually scared to be a father because I didn't even know what the hell it looked like. Yeah. So now I'm able to, I have to be there and like model, you know what I mean, being a dad, model being present. My daughter said the other day, Daddy, I don't know how your mommy always at all of my events, you know.
Aw, I love that.
She know we be moving.
Yeah, it's so special. And then they get to a certain age, minus 10, and she's always been expressive and always speaks her mind. But now that she's a little bit older, she does it more. And it's so interesting to see. And, you know, she sees me do my, you know, my 9 to 5 and my everything else. And she's so thoughtful. And I'll come home from something like this, or, you know, working on a project, and she'll say, well, how did it go? And like, she has a phone just because she's in dance now, you know, and I'm like, you're still too young for it. We won't even, but she will send me, if she sees like a video of like a video editing software, she'll send it to me, and she's like, Mom, for your business. And I'm
that's
like,
thoughtful.
I'm like, she's my heart, you know,
That's
so
thoughtful.
It is so important to, I want to set a good example. We've all, you know, everybody has gone through their own fair share of things in their own childhood, and I think it helps you realize what you want to do as a parent. And I think I had a lot of that I had a great upbringing, but there's a lot of things that I've learned now that I'm like, okay, well, I want to make sure I'm exposing my daughters, you know, to X, Y, and Z, and we show her that creative side and show her what it looks like to chase your dreams and things like that. So taking them along for the ride, not only is it, you know, for you guys building that legacy of, you know, keeping, you know, the business and everything else, but like you're teaching them such hard work ethic and just like what it takes to make these things come alive for yourself. Because it's not always a walk in the park, and you don't want to, I mean, for me personally, sometimes I'm like, I don't ever want to sugarcoat anything with my kid, because she's going to get to the real world someday and be like, what's this? You know what I mean? So
I think one of the key things, and I tell this with adults, you know, I teach, whether it's high school, college, people don't be thinking. They default to, I don't know, and I'm sorry. And my kids at Reno don't even say those words to me. You have to think. You know, like I run scenarios by them. Max, you know, there's a switch at the top of there. You're not tall enough. How you gonna get it? And he gotta just think. And he came over. I gotta get a ladder. There we go. It just to start the process of being able to solve problems.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I mean?
so important.
Oh man, so important. Because, like I said, I'm exposed to a lot of the youth out here, a lot of young adults, and they will default to, I don't know, fast.
So quick.
You know what I mean? And it's just that giving up.
And it's like,
thing.
well, actually, you do know if you just took a minute.
Exactly.
They genuinely do.
Yeah, and process.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's why I do take an extra minute sometimes if there's a teachable moment with Willow. You know, I could easily be like, okay, we got it, let's go. Or I could do it for her, which sometimes I do. But when there's a teachable moment and I can sit there and take a couple minutes to say, okay, well, here's why we did this. Next time we can, you know, we'll try it this way. sometimes I get an eye roll, but a lot of times she's like, all right, Mom, like, you're right, and those moments are important to me. I didn't always have those with my parents.
Right.
So, yeah, I love being her mom, but it is it's such an interesting, because at the end of the day, they're watching our every move. So it's like, I always set a good example, but I'm like, am I? Like, you like get to those moments sometimes where you're like, okay, I want to give her everything, every opportunity that she deserves. And your mindset is very refreshing, because I feel like so often, we get so caught up in the daily grind of what we need to do and, just surviving, quite honestly, sometimes. And we have to remember that children they don't know the things that we know, and sometimes we have to put ourselves on their level and teach them so that they can be equipped for the real world in the future. So it sounds like you're a wonderful dad.
I appreciate it.
Love to see that. So what's next for you? Tell me about we talked about the music a little bit, but what's to come for the rest of the year for you?
Yeah, so now there's a lot of pushing the album out, getting, booked to come speak. I'm looking at the fall now, because we at the spring, school year's out. So I'm focused on doing some outreach to get in the middle high schools, some colleges next year. What else? Working on the book. The book is coming. I had a mentor tell me, if you don't, your book is your business card,
So
I said,
yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Yeah.
So that's a thing. I'm playing with the idea of my show, The Bunker, which I've been toying with for 2 years now.
I love that.
So yeah, I mean, focus on like the military, some vets type stuff, and just sharing insight. So that's a thing. My daughter working on her project. We just finished her first, what will be single. Oh yeah, it's done.
Oh my gosh. Okay, what's it called? Tell us.
Untitled. It may the hook is I believe. I'll let you hear it after we break. We was working with Worldwide Wednesday.
Oh, awesome. So, that's so. Wait, is this a 6-year-old or? Okay.
6-year-old. Yeah. So she is funny.
Amazing.
She had a talent show the other day, and I was like, well, what you want to do? You want to do some gymnastics? She said, oh no, I'm performing Murph Flow.
Yes.
I was like, okay.
Yes,
so she took one of my tracks and she went out and we rehearsed. She crushed it.
Did you cry anytime? No.
She's performed with me before, but usually it's like I write it all down, execute my shit plan.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, baby, you gonna be on stage alone.
Yeah.
She said, oh.
I love that.
She represented. So Max is 4. We haven't found his thing yet. Running for sure. We was actually training yesterday. And he likes fighting, so I gotta
figure that one out.
And he likes tennis, so
that's fun. That is the age. Like Willow tried everything under the sun, and if she could, she would probably. She did Girls on the Run is a wonderful organization. Yeah. They do a 5K at the end of the school year. Unfortunately, we couldn't do it this year with dance, but. Yeah, there is that moment. You got to try it all. Basketball, we did. We did it all. And it's so fun to see her express herself through dance. I grew up in a dance studio. My mom was a choreographer.
Oh, wow.
So it's so, nostalgic for me to, be at these competitions and, see her just do,
Let me tell you.
It's so beautiful.
I had a great appreciation for dance after going to see an Alvin Ailey show.
Oh.
In New York City.
Yeah.
I was just like, wait, they're telling this story through dance, and I see it.
And you can, it's such a special gift.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so, and you don't I mean, I am a sap. That's just who I am, even before I was a mom. But I'm I wonder if I'll cry when she gets up on stage for the first time, because it's not a little, it's a pretty high up there tier of dance organization, and I'm it's just so moving. Of course I cried, but even watching some of the other girls when she's not in the routine, I'm these girls are sick. They're killing it out here. It's just so fun to watch people live their truth, especially the younger generation. It's it's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So I love to hear that you're, encouraging your little ones to express themselves through music.
And I think, and I'm sure you've seen this too, the growth. So quick story. A year ago, she did there was a competition out in Lancaster, out in I think Lincoln Highway.
Okay.
Big event. And at the end, the awards, one of the awards was this big globe, but that's only for if you place top 3 overall.
Right.
So we get in the car. She had like 2 medals, you know, it was cool.
Yeah.
And she's like crying. I'm like, babe, what's the problem? She's like, I want one of those globes. I said, really? So what needs to happen? And so she articulates, well, I got to train harder. I got to lock in. I got to have my, you know, because we preach the Mamba mentality. I said, all right, well, it's go time.
Yeah.
So a year later, we had the same competition, and it didn't dawn on me until award ceremony time.
You thought of it.
And I was just like, we've been here before, okay. And she placed, I think, 2nd overall and got a Globe trophy, right? So we get in the car, and I'm like, well, what does this trophy mean to you? And she says, you know, I'm just excited. I'm proud of my work. I said, no. This trophy signifies growth, your dedication, your commitment. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a big deal.
Works really hard.
And I want you to really
bask in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just super cool.
Those are such special moments.
Oh yeah.
It's so. Being a parent is the best.
Oh yeah, for sure. Listen, I had the opportunity to do when Vi was born, our childcare thing didn't work out. I resigned from everything and I became a stay-at-home dad.
Yeah.
And that was super different. I was just like, I never even see this in the cards.
Right, yeah.
But again, delusional self-confidence. I can do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm in here, I'm making food, and whipping it up.
Yeah.
So her and our bond is super dope. You know what I mean? And that fatherhood piece, it was just so special to be with her that year. I mean, talking, watching her make her first steps, you know what I mean? So
it is so special.
Yeah, the dadhood is dope.
It's next level.
Shouts out to the dope dads.
I know. Shout out to the dope dads, for real. You make the world go round. It's so special.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell everyone where we can find your music, where we can find all of your everything. You do so much. I don't even want to limit you to that. Speaking.
So website www.Mr.Mister-Motivation.com, or if you want the music straight, you go www.Mr.Mister-Motivationmusic.com. Instagram, Mr. Motivation Music. Tap in, get you some swag.
Yes.
You got the mindset shirt. So what I did, I got each M has its own logo. Oh. So I have it's going to be a shirt line eventually for each one.
That. I love that. Well, I will definitely stay tuned for that so I can be
swagged out.
Thank you so much for taking the time to connect. You are such an inspirational human being. I can't wait to continue to watch what you do with your music and beyond. So until next time, guys, take care.
Still walk with my head high. All my life, I've been through it. Made it out, I'm getting to it. Can't tell me I didn't do it. No passing L's, we skipping clubs. No taking L's, we getting dubs.